Hello all and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. As we are in our post perfection run, you can see I'm genuinely really excited because I have never seen anything that happens at this point. We've got weird yellow text popping up the side, strange rumblings heard in the distance. I mean, does that mean a meteorite's gonna hit? What the hell? I genuinely have no idea what this actually entails and what's gonna happen. So I'm just a little bit excited. Of course, I am going to visit outdoors in a moment once I reorganize everything that I've kind of got lying around in here. Yeah, I'm just genuinely really excited. I think that's quite reasonable. But yeah, I'm full on excited and well chuffed. It's probably the best way of putting it. Okay, so we've got some birds coming over. Okay. It seems strange to have parrots flying over in the dead of winter. I'm assuming something's going to be relating to Grandpa's shrine. Like, that kind of makes sense to my logic. Whether that is the case, well, we'll very soon to see. So yeah, let's find out where this kind of goes. Okay, so yeah. Well, we got the Statue of Perfection. I mean, what does it give? I mean, I've got other statues that give shiny things, but a solid iridium statue, that's some funky weirdness right there. Okay, so that little quick axe hit was just to test whether I could move the Junimo chest. Apparently not. Okay. Wow, I mean, I genuinely don't know what they're going to produce. So I'm just a little bit excited. Okay, I want to eat this spicy eel. Partly for the speed boost. I say partly. Mostly, if not all, entirely for the speed boost. Because I like being able to go a bit faster, thanks. That is kind of handy at this general stage in all adventures that I'm going to make. Being able to move around faster is always good. Okay. So let's see what other things that we can actually organise here. Well, I'm just going to quickly place the flooring back away that I don't really need. That's all good. What else can we sort out? I think that's the big question, isn't it? What other things can I sort out today? Yeah, you can tell I'm just... I don't entirely know what I'm going to do. And it's very silly, I'm sure, but it's very much for, wow, I've never achieved this, and as you can probably tell by the absurd excitement in my voice, it's something I didn't actually genuinely anticipate that I would be able to achieve in 3 years, because when I started the third year was really when I nailed down my, I'm going to try and finish it this year. I didn't think it was going to be possible. On a financial basis, really. And it was when I realised that the recipe that I didn't know was one that I could learn. That made me really happy, because I was expecting the recipe to be one from an even year, which would essentially mean I'd have to wait the entire time and sort of get back to there. Which would kind of suck, but I kind of... Not saying I deserve it, but it's kind of what I'd expect at this point. Because I do have that sort of level of like, oops, I'm an idiot, I've done something stupid luck. And yeah, I mean, it does happen enough, so it's really nice to see that I haven't screwed myself over. Makes me very happy. Right, well, I guess the big thing now is trying to figure out what's next, because yeah, I've got some general plans, I guess is probably one way of putting it, but what else do I want to do? I mean, I've got to have some idea of what I want to do, right? I mean, one would assume that I have some idea. Wrong, that would definitely be wrong, because I am well, not saying a complete moron, but I'm not the brightest spark sometimes. But hey, so we've got lots of things growing in my weird shed, and I'm trying to figure out what other things would actually be kind of sensible to put in there. Because that's really what I'm after, is what would work well for me in these sheds. Because, yeah, there's going to be a few things that are maybe a bit less useful, perhaps? Maybe that's one way of putting it. But, hey, we've got something that's going on, and that's cool and all. Now, let us prepare the other random miscellaneous bits for the rest of today. Because, yeah, I've got some other general plans. And that does involve throwing a lot of stuff into the sales bins, I will freely admit. Because, yeah, I've got loads of stuff that I don't really explicitly need right now, which kind of includes a lot of what I've got going on here. Like, I've got these eggs, which admittedly they are not that they are unneeded, it's more that they're going to be used elsewhere, because they are part of the quest from Gus to bring stuff to him, so he can make another big ol' omelette, which is good. And yeah, that'll be fantastic, being able to that he'll be able to make the ridiculously large omelette for the villagers, and they'll all be really happy with that, I guess. So yeah, we've got lots of general I'm not sure going on. And again, we've got all this lovely ancient fruit, and I'm not saying I'm of two minds to get rid of it, but I know that it's not as supremely valuable as I'd once imagined, and that does disappoint me a little bit. It's not the end of the world, I don't really think, but it is still a little bit disappointing in many ways. But hey, you know, you live and learn, and there's no other way of putting it. I've made a mistake in assuming, sorry, failing at the English language today, assuming that it would be the best thing for me. And yeah, I'll live. It's not the end of the world. I will definitely live. So yeah, there's what we've done. Now, one of the other things that I'm kind of thinking about is what other things can I do to the farm that will make it more interesting? Because now I'm at the stage where I kind of want to figure out what would work well for me, as potentially as silly as that might sound. What other things do I want to do in the farm, and what could I do that would make it more interesting to me? And for what sort of things could I do that would be kind of exciting? Like, for example, the slime hutches, because I've never used those. So that's a possibility, isn't it? It's a thing that I can and want to use. And that genuinely makes me kind of interested and excited that I've got something like that as a potential project moving forwards. So we're going to have to see regarding the slime hutch. I'm going to give that a bit of a dabble and see what that actually kind of brings us. Because there's going to be something that it's going to give me. Not sure what, but it's going to give me something. I mean, other than the obvious knowing that it's going to give me slime eggs. But all the same, it's something interesting. And genuinely curious to see what that gives. So yeah. There's a lot to potentially look at and be excited about. So yeah. It's really cool. So yeah, we've got lots to kind of think about today. And one of the other things that I am sort of umming and ahhing about is, as well as the these eggs here. Now let's actually check. Okay, so ostrich eggs don't count for any more eggs, which is a shame. I was genuinely expecting that they would. fine that they don't. It's just a little bit disappointing. Being that they are worth 10 mayonnaise, I was expecting them to maybe have the same sort of ratio. I'll live. It's not the end of the world, but it's just a bit annoying. Oh well, we'll live. We'll live. Anyway, so one of the other things that I do want to do today is find out what other things can I do to the farm and kind of figure out what works well. So Ginger Island's going to be a bit of a focus for me today, because I want to figure out what can I also plant on the farm on Ginger Island, what would work well, and that sort of thing. Now obviously I'm going to need a bunch more starfruit, because when don't I need more starfruit, to be fair? It's a common thing for me to need, just a bunch of starfruit at all times, and that's not a bad thing. You're always going to need starfruit, it's always going to be needed. Well, I'm always going to need starfruit, I think is probably the best way of putting it, isn't it? Because as a whole, I'm always going to be wanting to use starfruit as a resource, because it always will provide me a fantastically high value for the return. It'll give me the starfruit wine, which is always fantastically good, and hey, I might as well buy just an absolute bucket of fuel for myself, because yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense, does it not? I mean, it makes sense to me. So yeah, let's give that a go. Anyway, so we've got all these starfruit seeds that we're going to need, which is lovely, and we're going to definitely want all of that. But what else could we do with all of that? I think that's kind of the question, isn't it? Well, it's what other things do I want to plant on Ginger Island? Because moving forward, like, yes, the money's going to be helpful, but there is still a lot of things that I could and should do. Now, one of the things that was commented on a earlier video was the fact that I should definitely do the interactions between myself and, well, I say myself, the player character and the heart events, and, you know, give the general silly commentary that I am prone to do so. So I think that's going to be the next major project stage for this, that is High Ridge Farm. I am going to dabble with that and try and figure out how I can work through that, because of course I've already had most of the heart events. So I am going to essentially make a duplicate farm of the walrus, and kind of see what I can do there. And that's definitely going to be the major section for me there. But I'm going to play until the end of year 3 and see where we get to roughly, because then that'll hopefully give me enough time before the 1.6 update drops. And when 1.6 happens, then of course I'll come back to High Ridge Farm, replay through all of that and all that generousness. And also one of the other things was mentioned was me doing speed runs. And as I mentioned in my comment to it, I'm a scatterbrained moron. I genuinely don't know how I'm even going to be able to do that in any way, shape or form. The idea of me speedrunning a game is hilarious, because I'm so easily led down the rabbit hole of, oh, I wonder what's down here. It will just end very, very badly. Like, even games that have a time limit. So, for example, the Streets of Rogue. I tried playing it on extreme time difficulty, where you genuinely get given like a very short amount of time, and every time you complete a mission you get a little bit more time. Yeah, I'm real bad at that. I find it very, very difficult. So yeah, I'm going to have to give that a go and try and speedrun some nonsense. That's going to kill me, I swear. I'll just be like, look at me, I'm an idiot. And I've seen some of the Stardew speedrunning, and I'm not sure if I'm meticulous enough to do that. Like, what I didn't realise is, I don't know if everybody actually realises, is that when it comes to rainfall, it's not random. it's determined by how many steps you take. And I don't think I'm that meticulous that I could sit there and count my steps to the stage where I don't need to water my crops. That feels very, very odd. I mean, I can see that it obviously works for the speedrunning side, but it still feels almost wrong. But that's a me opinion on that one. I'm not saying that that is the wrong way to play, because at the end of the day, it's a game that I love and enjoy, and I respect the fact that there are multiple different ways that people want to enjoy the game, and that's kind of what that matters, isn't it? Is, do you enjoy the game? Go for it. That's really all that matters, isn't it? It's don't honestly let anyone tell you how to play a game. Your friends might be like, that's a bit of a weird thing to do, but oh well. To be fair, I think most of my friends think I'm a bit weird for playing Stardew Valley as much as I do, and also recording my gameplay for other people to watch. But hey, I don't care. It's fun. And that's all that matters to me, is it fun? But hey, I'm going to look into that, and I'm also going to be doing a few more. I'm going to look at doing more in the way of live streaming for my video antics, and we'll see how well that goes, because that could be a very interesting and amusing mess, for want of a better phrase, because I don't know how well that's going to work. I have already set myself up a Twitch account. I have had one for a while. I've set up a new one specifically linked to this the walrus, so we will see. Okay, so we've now got another statue thingy here, the Statue of True Perfection. Okay, so we got one from Grandpa's. Was the one from the Grandfather's Shrine one that I should have got ages ago? I kind of... Maybe? Maybe I'm an idiot. I say maybe. I know I'm an idiot. So, what have I done? I'm now genuinely a little bit confused, because I'm kind of concerned that is genuinely something I should have, would have, could have done way earlier, and that alarms me somewhat. Not gonna lie, because yeah, have I missed something? Oh no. I really hope I haven't missed out something that I probably should have grabbed far earlier in the game. And again, knowing that I am a moron, it is alarmingly likely that is the case. I'll live. It's just a oops moment, to be fair. So yeah, maybe I've done something stupid. Again, it wouldn't surprise me. So yes, we'll give that a dabble later on. We've got a few other things to actually sort out first. And one of those things is going to be sorting out the animals, because we still need to get more eggs. Now, that's not a concern of mine, it's just a thing I need to do. And it's I mean, it shouldn't be super difficult to organise getting more eggs for Gus and his gigantic omelette, but at the same time, it is a thing that I do kind of need to not worry about, but I do need to be ready for, I guess. It's probably the best way of putting it, isn't it? I need to be aware and ready for and doing things properly. Because, yeah, I need to be ready for this, as I've got lots of stuff that needs doing. I've got all these eggs that need harvesting, I've got things that need to be done, and I need to be ready for it all, which is again, perfectly legitimate. It's a thing. It's how this is going to go. So yeah, we'll give it a try and see what happens. For now, we're going to just organise our stuff, and maybe I should try and organise the sheds a bit more. In the meantime, until year 3 ends, I'm going to sort of try and clear up the farm a bit more. Make it more pretty, more presentable. Clear up my house a bit, maybe. I mean, that definitely wouldn't hurt, and it's not like I've left a scatterbrained mess that is my house. And yeah, we'll give that a try. Now, one of the things that I have as well is that I've got the Galaxy Hammer there. Now, the Galaxy Hammer is now set ready to be a life leecher, which is kind of where I'm aiming for. I want it to be a life leeching weapon. I want it to be good at doing that, and that's fantastic and all. That was the entire aim of it. Now, I still need to dabble with the dagger, because the dagger I wanted to do as a faster swinging weapon. So we do need to sort of have a look at that, I think, and see what can I do with the dagger to make it more effective. Because it's okay now, I guess. It just would be better is if I could give it an enchant that makes it more effective in against certain enemies. And I think that's probably the best way I can look at it is I want the dagger to be effective against the bugs, and the fact that I haven't given it that enchantment, well, that needs to change. So that's going to have to happen. I want it to be better against bugs and therefore more effective for myself there. For the time being, we're going to dabble with that a little bit. Now, otherwise, we've also got a kind of a lack of stone at the moment. And that feels a bit strange to kind of say that I don't have as much stone as I'd kind of need or would like to have. But at the moment, I don't really have anywhere near the amount of stone that I might very well need. And that's not good, because stone is a fantastically important resource. I've got lots of wood, but I need the stone. And again, not super complex, but it is going to be something that I am going to have to focus on for a little bit. So, let's give this a try. We're going to delve a little bit more into the Skull Caves, which is not a bad thing, to be fair. And it also gives me a chance to try out my logic, perhaps, is probably a way of putting it. Because my idea is that I'm able to potentially sort out the way that a lot of my other resources are balanced. And I also want to try out fighting enemies inside Skull Caverns a bit more and be a bit more capable of fighting them in better ways. Now, I know the enemies I'm fighting aren't the challenge mode versions right now, which is fine, but it's more of the practice side of things. Oh, another immunity band. That's a thing. Hurrah. Because I know I'm going to have to fight lots of horrible monsters when I delve into the Skull Caverns. And I do want to fight my way down as quickly as possible, and I do want to do the key challenge that he does give. So we're going to see how well we can do at that. Not expecting much, but it's what we're going to give it we're going to give it a try at least. And that's kind of what we're after, is at least trying. And that's fine, because I can't guarantee that I'm going to do everything well, am I? I really can't, and that's fine. But we are going to give it a try at least. Okay. But for now, we've got... Ooh, that's a lot of gold, isn't it? I mean, it's past 12. It's almost 1 AM. We should probably head back home. And the other advantage of me delving in the depths of Skull Caverns is it is going to give me more coal, which, again, is a resource that I just don't really have enough of, because I'm always going to need more coal. It's just a kind of a given, right? I'm always going to need coal. And I'm glad that I now have more of it. It makes my life a lot better, a lot easier, doesn't it? Really. So yeah, we're gonna give that a go, and we'll give that a try. But what next, I guess, is the next big question, isn't it? What do I want to try out? I should probably sell a couple of those rings that I don't need. Now, I do also kind of want to move around a couple of things. I'm still debating whether the placement of all of my things that I have on the farm, does it make sense? Is it in a good place? And maybe even reorganizing the fridges, because I could always buy another fridge, and then I could have one that's for fish, one that's for dairy products, one for vegetables, meats, you know, different fridges for different things. And that'd be kind of nice. Again, it's organizing myself, because I've now got the luxury of 2 weeks in game where I can just do whatever. It's probably the best way of putting it. I can kind of just do what I want. I don't have to worry so much about what else there is for me. Oh wow, I've got a prismatic shard, an omnigeode, and some iridium ore. I mean, does the Statue of True Perfection always give you that? I mean, hey, I'm just gonna move it over at least and see what comes out. Because hey, we might get something really cool. Who knows? So yeah, we've got some ideas. We've got some stuff that we need to... Okay, Vincent, you have... Now, I do have some pigs, but Vincent, I call my guinea pigs piggies. So I'm a bit confused as to what you're asking me here, my good sir. Because for me, a piggy is a guinea pig. It's not a pig. It's a guinea pig. Pig. So yeah, that's my understanding of the word piggies. So, I mean, yes, I know full well he's a child, and I'm being pedantic about what I call things and what he might call things. But I'm gonna be fiddly and faffy around it, because yes, piggy is guinea pig. Anyway. Okay. So, the other thing that I kind of want to do is see what else we can actually manage today. We've got to have some idea of what other silly things that we can do today. I mean, something silly. There's always something silly going on. It's how this game works, isn't it? Right, anyway. One of the other things that I do need to sort of work out is what other things am I going to do? Again, as daft as that might sound, I kind of need to figure out what other things I can do. Ah, well. Right, so we're going to put some sturgeon roe. Got that. That's good. What other stuff can we organise today? Because that's a big question, really, isn't it? It's what other things can we sort out for making my life easier? Because, yeah, it's going to be a thing, isn't it? I've got to be aware of what can I do on the farm to make life easier today for me. And I guess that's kind of a question, isn't it? There is going to always be a lot of stuff that one can do, but whether it's a good idea is a very, very different question, really, isn't it? But yeah, that's what I'm after today, is just trying to figure that one out. Okay, so we're gonna sort out that. That's fine. What else could we do today? Well, it's 9 AM. It's a beautiful day. It's a lovely start. We've got things to do, people to see, mad experiments to run, and more eggs to gather. So I've gathered the 24 eggs that are required for the gathering side of this quest, but I am going to pull out the ostrich egg from the fridge if I'm able to, because really it's far more valuable than the one egg it counts towards the challenge of completion for the quest itself. And I've got kind of honestly, I've got better things to use it for, such as more ostriches or more mayonnaise. And I think that's perfectly legitimate and perfectly reasonable. That's just going to be what's going to happen. I don't really care. My goodness. So I've got all these jams and preserves, which is lovely. And I kind of need to figure out what I'm going to do with all of them, I guess. We've got plenty of opportunity to do stuff with it, but it's what do I want to do with it? I know that sounds very silly and a bit daft, but it's I've got all of these crops, and I'm just going to have to slap them in to be turned into pickles, jams, preserves. But again, what kind of jams and pickles do I want to sort out? Do I just want to churn my way through all the crops and things and make it a bit better? You know, we've got because we're going to increase its value, and I'm curious to see what the actual value increase of different crops that I have in my stone chest actually are. So, you know, we're going to give that a try. We're going to dabble. We're going to see what actually is available, because I think that's interesting. To kind of actually have a look at what might be an interesting result for myself. What would be cool? How much would it be giving me, and what would it be? What's the advantage of it? You know, that sort of thing. Because, yes, I don't really want to just hyper-focus myself onto only producing certain crops that happen to be the most valuable. Because I think that's a little bit not really my personal choice of play style. But it is something that I kind of want to look at. What's going to be a better plan for myself. So I know radishes maybe not be the most valuable, but I'm curious to see how much the value of them is when they are pickled. Because, yeah, it's an interesting question, I feel. Whether it is a particularly interesting question, very, very different question. So, yeah. We've got some ideas, we've got some things to test out, things to test and see. Okay. So we are just going to have to keep slugging away at this. I've got no things here to actually remove from the keg storage, so that's fine. I'm perfectly content with that. Because, yeah, I've got loads in the kegs. It doesn't really matter otherwise. It's fine. So this is essentially just going to be the big old pickled pumpkin patch. As daft as that is going to sound, that is going to be the main area that I'm going to have as a thing for this. Yeah. Pickled pumpkins and pumpkin juice. It's going to be what we produce here. It's a thing. I don't care otherwise. It's just how it goes. So yeah, we've got lots to do. Okay. Now, none of the crystallariums are ready. That's fine. And the crystallariums, they're going to produce, well, a variety of things. We've got mostly diamonds in them. We do have some fire quartzes, and maybe I should have one that generates emeralds for me, just for the sake of convenience, because that is it's a useful thing for me. So hey, who knows? See what works out well for me. Okay, so we're going to ride on into town for now, because I am going to go into a dungeon-y delving experience. That's kind of a given at this point in the game. Okay, so what's the quest that you can offer? A copper bar for Mr. Rasmodius. Well, if I can be bothered, Rasmodius, I will happily find you a copper bar for whatever weird and wonderful purpose you happen to have. I'm not sure what it might be, but hey, we'll do something, maybe. We're going to keep going for it. That's what we're after, at least. We'll see. Anyway. Right. So, what other things can we sort out today? Well, we've got a mayonnaise. That's the... Well, I say a mayonnaise. 10 mayonnaise because that was an ostrich egg. And the same is going to apply. I'm just going to fling an ostrich egg into the sale bin. Well, to be turned into mayonnaise because there's... As discovered, it doesn't give you any particular extra benefit. So, there's no point, really, having, like, putting that into the fridge in the bar. Now, I'm also curious to see, because one of the things that I'm speculating is, of course, there's a lot more dialogue that's going to be opening up within Stardew Valley. And I'm curious to see if Gunther will become an actual character that you can interact with more properly and that you can develop a friendship with. That is one of the things that I've seen banded around quite a lot is as an idea of like, well, why don't we have that ability to talk to Gunther? Why don't we have that ability to, you know, forge an established relationship with him? And I'm actually quite curious to see why that is. Hopefully we'll find out soon enough on that one, because it'll definitely be an interesting thing if that is something that we can do. Okay, so whilst I'm here in the Skull Caves, again, as I mentioned previously, like earlier, I'm going to be trying to gather coal and stone. They're the two primary focuses of myself here. Stone is a secondary, because it's kind of a given, you're gonna get some stone. But it's the coal that I'm really after. I'm always gonna need coal, it's just kind of a given. And yeah, I'd always like more of it, thanks. Which I think is, again, quite understandable and reasonable. That I'm always gonna want more of the coal. Okay. So let's see what we can find here. I think it would be nice to sort of try and see what other weapons would actually do for me. So actually seeing how the dagger would work out, I think I should probably experiment with it a bit more. You can see that like I'm quite comfortable with using the hammer because it's a weapon that I used predominantly previously when I played Stardew Valley, because I kind of always valued the harder hitting, and I do very much enjoy the area of effect secondary attack ability. Because I'm never going to lie, when it comes to games that allow you to have area of effect abilities, such as like MMORPGs, like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy Online and Guild Wars and even Warhammer Online, because yes, that was a thing. I used to play that, it was insane. Back in the past, when I actually used to work for Games Workshop, I played Warhammer Online. Those were the days. Yes, yeah. I've always chosen like abilities that give me that ability to control a large number of enemies, because I'm lazy, and if I can engage multiple enemies all at once and do area of effect abilities to reduce them faster, fantastic. I'm all about that. I'm very lazy, which I've definitely mentioned before that I am, and I think it's quite reasonable for me to want to try and just do my best as easily and lazily as possible. So yeah. Right. So we're going to detonate this large area here. And the thing is, we've still got plenty of time. Now, I guess one of the other things that I should really try to do is complete the Journey of the Prairie King. It's not an impossible task. I've done it before. I know, I've got the achievement. Of course I've done it. But it would be interesting to try and actually get the play cabinet in, because that's what you unlock once you complete it. You do get a home version of it, which is interesting that you get an arcade version of it rather than like Abigail has, where she's got a console version of it. And I'm curious to see, I mean, it'd be interesting if she personally, if she was like my spouse, if she commented on the fact that I had the arcade cabinet and not the console version that she has. And I guess that's one of those things though, isn't it? Like, in the days of my youth, because I don't really feel that arcade cabinets are quite as exciting as they once were, maybe. Because I very much fondly remember the days of going to visit. Where am I thinking? So there was a bowling alley reasonably close to my home, and it had bowling, laser quest, and arcade cabinets. And we would go there occasionally, and I remember fondly playing Time Crisis, because Time Crisis 2 specifically, because it had cooperative ability, and I wasted much money playing that with my younger brother. And what I found interesting was, of course, when Time Crisis 2 came out on the PlayStation 2, we bought a copy of it, we bought a second light gun, and yeah, it was great. We learned how to complete the game. No issues. So it did mean that if we went to the arcades, we would just end up spending a very small amount of money and just complete and win the game. But it was still slightly different. It was although the enemies appeared at the same place, you could tell there were some subtle differences. So it was an interesting one. But yeah, I would wonder if there are some differences in the two, like the Journey of the Prairie King arcade versus regular and blah blah blah. But I do also enjoy the fact that there is a cooperative ability of the Journey of the Prairie King on the console version, which obviously is shown. And it would be quite nice that if you played multiplayer Stardew Valley, that you could play that together. I think that would be quite sweet. Maybe not like, maybe it would only do a certain number of levels. Maybe you couldn't Vector, and maybe even it'd just be harder because there are two of you. I don't know. But it'd still be interesting, and I'd actually quite like to see that. I wonder if someone's actually done a mod for that. I mean, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they had. People do mods for all sorts of things, to be fair. Which is kind of reasonable and interesting, I think. So yeah. We will see. Okay, so let's pot down here. Let's flatten this horrible, floaty, horrible serpent thing. That's a lot of iridium over there. Well, let's find our way down and get out of here again. Again, we're just trying to strive further down. I'm not really trying to kill all the enemies. I'm just burning through this as quickly as possible, I think. That's probably the best way of putting it. And again, we should be able to do so. Oh, and a prismatic shard. Ooh. Well, let's dispose of something. Actually, dispose of the white algae by eating it. That's a good way of disposing of things, right? Very, very sensible. The way that one disposes of things is to eat all the things. That is indeed how this works. Okay, anyway, because of course I'm being very silly, as you can probably tell. But yes, we definitely need to eat all of the things here. And not have to worry about things at all. Okay, so let's see how far down we can get, because that's, again, what we're kind of after here. We don't want to have to deal with going down in the mines and working stuff out. Okay, so we're going to detonate that. We've got lots of slimes to murder. Be gone, slime. Be gone! Horrible slimes. Ooh, emeralds. Well, I do kind of want them more than prehistoric vertebrae. Not as excited about those. Yes, they're nice and all. They're a useful thing, I guess. It's just not quite as exciting, really. As things go, there are more exciting resources that are available. And again, that's kind of normal, kind of reasonable, and that's just how this is going to go. So we're going to detonate that area over there. So we've got lots of more gemstones, we've got some more stone, that's all good. Hopefully we can get something good. Well, let's see. We'll see. Okay. Now, it's quite a lot of gubbins actually over there, isn't it? Well, let's see what we can actually sort out here while we try and figure this one out. Okay, so that's murdered him. That's fine and all, which again, that's kind of what we want. Right, we're going further down into the mine, and that's good. We've got more to deal with, which is fine. Oh, come on. Oh dear. Okay, so that's another slime over there. That's fine. Well, hopefully we can figure something out here. Huh. I was hoping we'd find more passageways down and the holes. And I think that's something I do need to sort of look at really more carefully. Is luck the more important, not skill, but is it the more important thing for us to focus on when it comes to doing better in this sort of exploration side of stuff that we're doing? Because yeah, we're going to be looking further in for that, aren't we? To be honest, and maybe that's what our best plan is here. Like, is luck food and luck stuff going to give us the best end game result that we're after? I think probably in a delve of Skull Caverns, that is the case. Not sadly, but that is kind of where focus is going to lie, isn't it? I think. And again, that's perfectly fine. Just a bit odd. And not really at the end of the world, but, you know, we've got a lot of useful loot out of all that nonsense. So we've got 52 copper. Not 52 copper, sorry, 52 coal. You know, both begin with a C, but I just forgot how words worked. You know, by forgetting the rest of the word. And yeah, we've got lots of other things that we can put away, and I think we're going to smelt up a bunch of stuff later on. Probably sort that out tomorrow, or maybe even on Monday. So we'll see. And the thing is, we've also got the thankful joy of the winter night market coming along soon. And that could be kind of an interesting one for us to look at, because the night market does give us some useful opportunities. Of course, we've still always got the great artist Lupini. Now, I know I've already bought his art. Look at that. Now, it's the values here. So corn is worth 210 when pickled. Banana jelly, look at that, 490. That's a lot. But pickled pumpkins, nearly 1,000 apiece. That's fantastic, isn't it? And it's also the aged lava eel roe. Now, I know I kept the lava eels mostly because I knew that their roe was valuable, but also because the spicy eel that they can give you. So yeah, I feel pretty vindicated for sticking with them. Almost is probably the best way of putting it, because yeah, they are very valuable, and that's great. So yeah, always going to want more of that. Always going to want more of that. Okay, so we're looking into Sunday now. So it's the 14th of December. Well, December of winter. I say December. Like there's only 4 months in the year. Goodness gracious, that'd be a terrifying concept. If the year went this fast, and admittedly crops grew this fast, that'd be great. Food wouldn't be as much of an issue. But if the seasons lasted only 2 weeks each, that would be frightening. I mean, I'm not even sure if Mercury orbits the sun that fast. I think Mercury's orbit is like 88 days or something. I'm gonna have to look that up, because of course my brain's gone, ooh, you need to know. Now, other things that I'm looking at are, what other foods could I use and, you know, find that would be helpful to me at this stage in the game that would give me a decent buff. Now, of course, there's like the cranberry, which is good because that gives you defense and mining. Okay, so the merchant fleet arrives tomorrow. Lovely stuff. And that is something to sort of be aware of, is that with the advantage of Mr. Keys, with his essentially LSD in a pot, to improve the quality and food that you've made, you do massively increase the abilities that it gives you, which is really helpful. And I'm all for an improved stat boost, because hey, it's great. Now I know I'm also running a massive risk in here. I'm carrying bombs. And we've seen it happen a couple of times, haven't we? Where I've put a bomb down by accident. I am very well aware that I am running a risk. I'm very much careful because I really don't want to redo that. Because detonating all those crystallariums would actually make me cry. Genuinely, I would think I would actually just cry, because that's so much time and effort that's gone into making those, and I'm just like, I hate my life. Which I think is quite reasonable. Yeah. It would drive me absolutely potty. Just no ifs and or buts about it. It would drive me insane that I'd broken things that badly. Ah, well. Right, anyway. So let's quickly check in here. Oh my goodness, look at all the wine that's ready. That's perfect. Now, I think I've got a bunch of beer on the go in some of them as well. So that would explain why there's a slight delay between them all in producing. Of course, I can't summon my horse in here. I don't really want to. But I'm going to put all the starfruit wine in here. That's all good. We want lots of starfruit wine because we're going to turn that into an aging process in the kegs. Sorry, the aging casks under the shed. And we are going to continue driving forward for our end goal of lots and lots and lots of starfruit. But with this ancient fruit wine, it's good. We've got plenty of ancient fruit, so I'm going to sell that. And again, got lots of ancient fruit still, so it's a good stopgap more than anything. It's not like the end of the world, really, sort of thing. Okay. So let's see what other things that can we actually do here. Well, that is a question, isn't it? What other things could we do? Because there's not a huge amount else I can actually make in those kegs and casks. I'd be curious to see if that would be something else that we get as well, like maybe more cask and keg things. I mean, maybe we might very well do. Who knows? I mean, we've got lots of things that might be coming. Don't know for certain. That's the thing. Oh my goodness, all of that ancient fruit. Lovely. Well, that's all getting replaced with starfruit. That's fine. That's great and all as well. It's kind of a given, though, isn't it? That's kind of what we're going for. Isn't it? So, yeah, we've got lots of other things that we've got going. Okay. So we're going to put the ancient fruit away. And again, it's going to give us a bit of money. We're not super concerned about money right now. It's a thing, but I don't really care so much. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment is, do I need this right now? I mean, maybe. I don't really need... well, that's a lie. I always need more money because I don't know what's going to come next in the forthcoming expansion. So I think that's also another advantage I have, is that because if I pause myself for the main walrus silliness at the end of a year, that'll mean that I can essentially start a new year without feeling like I'm missing something. Maybe? Hopefully. I mean, that's kind of what I'm aiming for, at least, is having lots to sort of think about. Okay. So we've got lots of sap. That's good. What else have we got that we can throw away that we don't really care about? Well, I think I'm probably going to end up going back down into the mines again, aren't I? And then what to do what? That's the question, isn't it? Like, again, Skull Caverns, we're getting resources, we're getting stuff out of it. And again, we're getting a little bit of practice in, because I do stand by, I need to, if I'm going to do that, get to floor 100 in a single session of Skull Caverns, on hard mode, I need to... I do really need to... I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? What I need is to have more food that's going to give me luck, really, more than anything, because the luck itself is the stat that kind of matters at this point. The other stuff kind of doesn't, sadly, as silly as that might very well sound. And yeah, it probably does sound very silly, to be fair. Shame, though, that it doesn't matter quite so much. But that's not the end of the world. Anyway, so we're going to head back over to the town for a moment, as I'm really after just the odd bits of resources. And it's going back to the tavern, and I want to really aim in the tavern to just put stuff away. In the fridge, that is. You know, get that organised, get that done. That'll be kind of what I'm looking for. Just have stuff aside and organised and blah blah blah. And that's kind of an important thing for me. It's just making sure that stuff is well organised in regards to these sort of like the quest chains that are given by the villagers themselves. And then that's kind of going to be a thing, isn't it? That we've got lots of stuff that we need to do in the village and just trying to get it all done. But for now, I'm just going to reorganize my inventory so that I've got the bombs in a more sensible location, I think is probably the best way of putting it, so that I don't end up blowing myself up like a twit. And again, I'm very prone to doing so, so I know, it's exactly what I deserve, because I will just keep doing it. And it's annoying, is the best way of putting it. It's very frustrating realising that I'm an idiot and I keep doing it. But for the same, it's just going to be how this goes. Anyway, so we will organise this bit. And what other things could we or should we do? Right. Yeah. Hopefully something clever. I mean, I'm not expecting anything super clever, to be fair. I think that's the sort of the quandary I have at the moment is there anything else that I could do that would be more sensible, really, going forward? Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we can figure something out. Because that's really all I can say is I've got lots of things to sort of work out and figure out and do. But what else do I want to... What else do I want to sort out? I don't know. I should really try and figure this out, shouldn't I? Yeah, no, I've got to figure it out, haven't I? Okay, so what we're going to do now is look at trying to figure out other ways of getting deeper into the mines. And that's kind of reasonable, isn't it? We've got lots of things that we need to try and figure out, and I don't know if anyone else knows of any other ways of boosting your speed at going through here. Now, I've decided with a hybrid approach, I've got the improved mining skill, because my assumption is that, like foraging, if you increase your mining skill, you're more likely to, or you will gather more coal from destruction of stone and other general debris. Now, that's fantastically helpful because, of course, shockingly enough, I'm really after coal. But the other quandary I've then got is, does the increase to mining offset the increased luck stat that might be more useful. Now, I know that the lucky lunch is a thing, but the problem I've got is I haven't got any sea cucumbers, and they are a major component part of it. I've got lots of super cumbers, but basic ones, I haven't got any. And I think that might be something that I need to rectify. Now, as far as I'm aware, they are a summer fish. Could be wrong. Probably should check the Fibs channel, because that does give you the lowdown on stuff. But yeah, I need to test that, and if it is a summer fish, and I then wonder, can I put it to do something? I know that sounds very stupid, but could I, in theory, use the super cumbers to increase my luck by a much larger and greater number, to then increase the likelihood of these damn holes appearing so I could drop down faster? Now, it's that difficult trying to figure out the most healthy balance side of things, because of course I'm still concerned about the output of damage that these horrible, horrible creatures will do to me, and I definitely don't enjoy that. These blasted, horrible, big serpent things that do silly, silly damage to me, and I don't really enjoy that, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, I need to figure that one out. And I'm a bit, not concerned per se, but I just don't want to end up getting myself knocked unconscious. Now, I've had 2 very lucky escapes whilst trying to delve the depths of the Skull Caverns on hard mode, on whatever, because I've been lucky. And that's really all I can say, is I've just been lucky. And I need to be, honestly, just careful, because there are a lot of potential risks with all of this, and I don't really want to struggle with this. So yeah, it's going to be a thing that I'm going to have to look at and just hope that it doesn't go horribly wrong. So yeah, we're going to give it a go, and I think that's really all I can say, is we're just going to give things a try and hope for the best. How well that's going to go, we'll see. But anyway. Right, so next great big plan of action that we've got is trying to work out what other things could I do that might help with my general mad approaches here. Because yeah, I've got lots of dumb ideas, honestly. But what else can I do that will make my life easier when it comes to it, to making sure that I don't horribly mess up? And again, if anyone else has got some like useful tips or tricks for delving into the mines, always happy to listen, because I know I'm an idiot. I know I'm going to do dumb stuff, and I know it's going to be annoying. So I'm just painfully aware of my stupidity, which I think is, at least I'm aware of it, and that is kind of a good thing, I guess. That I am very well aware that I'm a moron, and I'm likely to do dumb stuff. So, you know, I've got that going for me at least. I'm not saying much else, but hey, it's a choice that I have made, and I know. So yes, we've got other sort of like test quandaries that are going to be the big question of the day here, and we just want to make sure we get out and about with it, really, don't we? The next kind of big thing that I'm looking at is what other things can I do to make my farm better in regards to its layout, what other things that I want to put into it, such as, of course, I know I'm going to put slime hutches in. That's going to be a thing. Probably just the one, so I don't know why I said hutches, but that is a thing, isn't it? It's going to be something that I'm going to make. But again, what is the best plan for that, and how am I going to organise it? And I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to sort of wonder, I guess. Because yeah, I want to make sure that my quest to not end up screwing up badly kind of goes well. And I think that's a question that I have for myself, really, is what else can I do that will make it better? I think. Anyway, that's a thing. So, come on. I'm hoping that these bombs are actually working out well for me, at least. I mean, they do seem to be going okay. It's not like me using the bombs isn't effective when I need it to be, which is nice and all, I guess. It's nice that I don't have to worry so much. But, yeah, it is a bit of a weird one in some ways. Because you're relying on bombs. I've seen people using bombs to cut down trees, which seems a little overkill to me. Because you're using a very destructive technique to destroy a tree. I mean, yes, okay, it does work. It just feels a little bit overzealous, perhaps? Might be one way of putting it. Yeah. I mean, that's just how it kind of comes across to me, at least, on that. I can't say for certain whether that is actually the case, whether it's a little bit over the top and overzealous, but it does feel a little bit, not saying ridiculous, but just a smidge, potentially. Maybe just a little. So, yeah. That's what I'm looking at least. So yes, I think that's kind of really where I'm not saying I'm drawing the line at like the weirdness that is, but it would be kind of important for me to make sure that I don't end up doing lots of dumb stuff, like, well, screwing myself over, which is unfortunately very likely for something for me to do. And as I've done before when I've laid down bombs by accident in the farm, like a complete moron, and I felt like crying a lot, which I think is quite reasonable, to be fair. Because, yeah, I felt so incredibly stupid after all of that, having wasted my time putting stuff down, making a mess of everything, and just feeling like an idiot. It's just depressing, if I'm really honest about it, is that I did all of that and I just royally screwed up, and it makes me feel very sad that I'd tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter. To quote the Great Linkin Park for that one. That was awful, I'm painfully aware, I'm sorry. Yeah. That is really what it sort of boils down to, is I know that I made a lot of dumb mistakes, and that's kind of how it goes. And I think when I started recording this, like, I'd be tempted to, if I'd screwed up that bad, I would just start the day again. Because I'm like, well, okay, I'm an idiot. I understand that I'm an idiot, but I feel very, very stupid about it. So I'll live with it. Now, I'm like, if I put a bomb down in here and detonated all those crystallariums, yes, I would want to kick myself. But I would suffer through it because I'm an idiot and I'm going to try and maintain some standards and decorum and blah, 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 blah. I'll still cry. I will definitely cry. But I won't restart for the day. But we're coming to the end of today, at least. So I'll bid everyone a very fond farewell. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed. It is, believe me, a fantastic feeling actually achieving perfection for the very first time here in Stardew Valley. I feel so ridiculously overwhelmed by the fact that I've actually finally managed it. So please do like, share, and subscribe. They all do very much help. And hopefully I will catch you all again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.